Hello, my name is Ashley, this is Faithful Rattos, and welcome back. So in today's video, I have a bit of a topical one right now in the rat community, but also for me. So 3 weeks ago, tomorrow, when I'm filming this video, I paired 2 of my does for my breeding project. I made whole videos about it. You can go check them out on my channel. So my does will be day 21 of their pregnancy tomorrow, fingers crossed, if everything goes well. One of them is looking hopeful, the other one not so much, so we shall see what happens on that front. But that does mean that they need to go into their maternity cages tomorrow, so I have spent the afternoon putting them up here behind me, as you can see. So I thought, since it's topical for me, and topical just in the UK rat space at the moment, that I could talk to you about the science behind maternity cage setups, and then show you what I've done. So let's get into it. So a maternity cage, like any other cage, needs to be a suitable environment for the rats. Obviously, this is part of the 5 freedoms, to have a suitable environment and to be able to exhibit normal behaviour. These 2 key tenets of the Animal Welfare Act 2006 are really important, and they still apply when you have a pregnant rat. So that means they need to be in a suitable environment, needs to be big enough, and it needs to be enriched. And there is science that backs this up. Pregnant and nursing does are still rats, and they still have the needs of all other rats. So that means they need adequate space. So the general footprint that is recommended for a rat cage is about 80 by 50 centimetres. So they need adequate space, they need adequate enrichment, chewing, gnawing, places to dig, places to climb, all of that good stuff. And they need choice. This is really, really important, and is something actually that Alison Campbell of Ratwise made a whole playlist about. Choice is really important for rats and their well-being, making sure that they have a good sort of resilience to stress, and choice helps with that, as with people. When we have choice over situations and outcomes, that does help us quite a lot in dealing with negative experiences, and that is still the same for pregnant rats. They need to be able to spend time away from the nest, so small enclosed cages like lab style bins or very small cages shouldn't be used all the time, because they need to be able to stretch and they need to be able to get away from the nest. There is ample science behind this. They have better milk supply when they have space to stretch and move around, and enrichment, and going along with that, their prolactin levels are much better. So of course, when we're thinking about a setup, it has to be good for the doe, but it also has to be good for the babies. And so that means we're not having really tall cages or really large cages, because we don't want the doe to get too stressed and scatter her babies everywhere, or if one baby accidentally gets out of the nest, we don't want it to be able to not find its way back. That's really important, which is why we do use small-ish cages for birthing and nursing. And we also need to make sure it's not too high, so it's not a risk for the babies to fall down if they are still attached to mom's nipple when she's climbing, things like that. So that is something to consider. We're not advocating here for massive, tall, massive double cages in the first couple of weeks of the baby's life, but the doe having space to rest, to have an enriched life away from the nest, is really important. Obviously, a doe, a rat that is used to an enriched cage, going into something that's not enriched, it's going to be stressful, no matter what the sort of situation is, no matter that she's got the babies with her. She needs her own mum time, as I like to call it, so that is really important. So yeah, that's basically the background of this video. We do need to ensure that our cages are safe for babies and for mums, but also enriching for mums, and that is something that I really focus on when I set up my maternity cages, and I'm going to show them to you now. So, as you can see here, this is an Alaska cage. This is, I think, generally marketed as a hamster cage. I know rat people, mouse people, hamster people kind of have this. I don't know if they still make these. I got both of mine secondhand from Facebook Marketplace, and I'm always on the lookout for this size cage, because it is very, very helpful. It is small enough, but also big enough for lots of different things. Maternity cages, intros, when you first bring baby rats home and you just need somewhere for them to go for a week so you can bond with them. Perfect size for that. I love my Alaskas. I use them to death. I just want to explain to you what I've put in this setup, how long it will stay in for, etc, etc. The whys, the whats, all that good stuff. So, as I said, this cage is big enough to give mom space away from the nest, but it's not too big that she can abandon them, or that if the babies are somehow taken out of the nest or make their way out of the nest, as sometimes happens, they can find their way back. It's not too big of a space. It has a good sized lip here, which means, oh, sorry. As you can see here, it has a good sized lip, which means we can get quite a decent amount of bedding in, which is very helpful. And I have chosen to go with my favourite at the moment, normal quote-unquote substrate, which is Pure Flake Extra. I have also given a couple of different types of nesting material to my mums. So I have this kind of shredded cardboard thing. I don't know what you would call it, but this comes obviously in packages. I have hay, I have just regular packing paper, and I have fleece scraps, as well as the regular substrate. This will help mum to build a nest to her desire. I have a bendy bridge and a Sputnik. Last time this worked really well. I gave my dollies the choice of where they wanted to birth. They could build their own nest, or they could build in one of these two. Marissa decided last time that she was going to birth in the little bendy bridge. She did move them out into a bigger nest she built, I want to say, when they were sort of 6 or 7 days old. They were just too big to all nurse in there with her as well. So she did sort of move them into a bigger nest she built herself. Sophie, she only had 3, and she built her nest in a Sputnik, and they stayed in the Sputnik basically until they were nest broke, just because there was not that many of them, so she still had plenty of room as they grew in there for her movement around and stuff inside of the nest. So that's what she chose to do. So this time around, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give her the option. This is probably going to be Dandelion's cage. I'm going to give her the option to see what she wants to do in terms of nest. If any of this is getting in the way, I'll take it out for her, but I will, you know, just see what she's doing in order to keep mom busy. I have also put in a lovely pine cone. I actually foraged this one myself, I think, and here we have a foraging toy. I also have, for mum's enrichment, this branch here to allow her to jump up and away from the babies, but this isn't a platform where she can sort of lose babies, so that's why I gave a branch. And then while she's settling in with her friend, I'll probably put their own mums in here with them, just because they know this sort of setup. I will take this out probably for the first week and a half, maybe 2 weeks of the baby's life, because I just don't want to leave any babies scattered, because if she brings them up to the hammock and then leaves, they will get too cold and die. So I will be taking this out. This one has obviously seen much better times, and I'll give this back to her once the babies have fur and they won't get too cold if they end up left in here. I obviously have 2 little water bottles here. One of them will have regular water in, and one of them will have either like milk or water with their supplements in. So I have that. Is there anything else I haven't told you? Oh yes. So as you can see, these cages are also covered over with cardboard on 4 sides. Is that 4? Yeah, 4 sides. And we obviously want a good amount of ventilation, so the front is still very open, but I do find that they are going to be much less stressed if the environment just generally seems more enclosed. So that is what I have done. Last time, as the babies got older, I slowly took away these coverings until the babies were, you know, nest broke themselves and just generally playing around. But I do find for the babies and for the mum's sake, this is quite nice. A lot of what I've done is advice from other breeders. So Asami Rats made lots of helpful videos that I did use, and some of the other breeders, especially in the Midlands Rat Club, did help me out with advice in general, knowledge and all the stuff. So yeah, this is probably going to be Dandelion's. And down below we have, I don't know if you can actually see that, hold on. Down below here we have the exact same setup. It's obviously just a fresh cage. Exactly the same things for Lyra. Okie dokie, thanks so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please stick around and subscribe. Hopefully, inside these 2 cages behind me, there'll be mummies and beans by the time I'm watching this video, because this video is probably going to go up on Monday, and that's hopefully when the babies are due. So hopefully by the time, the day that this video goes up, I do have beans. I will let you know, don't you worry. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please do ask me any questions, critiques, comments down there in the not the description. I write in the description, you write in the comments. Anyway, thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!